What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the F125 My Team Career Mode video. Today we're racing around the Canadian GP circuit. Now, Canada, lots and lots of straights, so we're going to try and set the car up mainly for that, but there are lots of corners as well, so we've got to be careful with the AI on 110 difficulty. But let's get straight into it. And here we are, Q1. Obviously you'll see a couple of our laps in qualifying. Now, I have to say I've once again made some changes to how my wheel works. Nothing about how the ERS works this year, thank you Mark, but basically I wasn't feeling it. Normally I like Canada as a track, but I think in practice maybe it wasn't quite working out, the setup didn't feel quite right, and as we go deep, just to kind of illustrate that, you know, braking and things like that kind of felt a bit weird. I don't know why, but anyway, we had a lot of downforce on during practice and I stripped it all back purely because when you go over 100 AI, you'll probably know this already, but when you go over 100 AI, the AI basically have lighter cars than is possible in the game, and yeah, their top speed is a bit crazy. So what I kind of did to combat that is build my car and my setup for this straight. And that's literally the only thing we care about, because it's such a long straight. It's basically the entire length of the track when you take out this chicane next to the wall of champions. And yeah, I just didn't want to be falling backwards in the race because of slow straight line speed. So we did actually get into Q3 as well, from Q1. You know, we didn't get a free pass in Q2 at all, but we did enough to get there. And you can kind of see we're snatching at brakes on the inside fronts when we are pulling into corners. Now, I tried playing around with the brake bias as well. It wasn't really that. It must have just been to do with my driving. But so far in this final lap of Q3, we've picked up a couple of tenths and we go purple in Sector 1. Again, built for straight line speed. But it does hinder us in Q2 when there are, you know, two chicanes essentially that are pretty high speed as well. We do have to slow down a bit more for them, which is potentially going to give the AI a bit of an edge and potential dive bomb down into this hairpin at the end of Sector 2 and the start of Sector 3, but we still have a personal best in Sector 2. We do go a bit deep, but that, if anything, helps with our exit, and we actually nail the traction pretty nicely out of that hairpin, and now we open up the DRS, burn as much battery as we want to. I think I'm going to dip it down to around 21% just in case the kind of automatic settings already use an extra percent or two before the braking zone, and now draining the battery up to the line for a 109.9, which does sit us 6th on the grid, and then moving straight into the race. We'll see what Mark says.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Very vague and bland there, Mark. Thank you for that. But I was thinking about going potentially soft hard in this race, maybe, but I think the soft would just die so quickly around here with the high speed corners and the fact that we've got low downforce. So we're going to stick actually with the hard medium, which seems to be what everyone else around us is going to be doing as well. We've got Lewis Hamilton just ahead, Charles Leclerc ahead of him, we've got Yuki Tsunoda just behind us on the grid in P6, and then Piastri in P7. I think there was someone that had penalties, which is why we kind of claimed the position higher than we got in qualifying. But interestingly enough, Mark has something to say about weather.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected.
Okay, so no rain currently expected. That's interesting that he decided to tell us that on the formation lap. Now, I'm not going to bother sticking around for the whole formation lap, but that was interesting to hear from Mark. But all the lights are on for the main Grand Prix. Now they're out. It's a pretty short hold, and Hamilton initially gets an incredible reaction. We're getting all the wheel spin in the world. I need to work on my start, but there's just 2x2 as we lose the rear under brakes, and I think I've got it on 54% brake bias, which, yeah, it just, maybe the cold hards didn't help either, but I've turned it up to 56 now just to try and stop the back end from just snapping out under brakes, because that was horrendous. It was such a sudden snap that just moved so much. It wasn't like a small snap, it was huge. I have no idea how I was able to catch that, but even then on the exit, the rear's stepping out a little bit. Piastri's got us under some pressure here, as he's already gotten past Tsunoda. Leclerc and Hamilton having a bit of an inter-team battle there, and kind of gave us a bit of a lifeline into this hairpin. We do dive bomb down the inside of one Ferrari. We actually make contact with the second. It's just up ahead, and we lose some of our front wing there. I did see an end plate fly off into the sort of runoff area of the hairpin. And then moving on to lap 2 now. Because of that wing damage, we can't keep up with Leclerc. We've already got low downforce as it is, but this is really starting to injure us here as we're moving through this race. And we do have some decent pace in the straights, as you can see. Back end stepping out again as we defend from Hamilton. But we just, through the corners now, especially with that wing damage, we just don't have any pace at all. And even though I said we wanted to have pace in the straight line, here comes the Ferrari of Hamilton round the outside in the chicane, actually almost making contact with us as we tried to keep it clean. But there's just no way, surely, that you can go too wide through the chicane there. But all of this, with our limited downforce, with our wing damage, could get a bit spicy if the rain does turn up later on. We're going to move forward. Lap 3. Piastri for company just behind. He's been nipping at our heels since lap 1. And Hamilton is kind of carrying us slightly. I'm trying to stay as close as I can to the rear of that Ferrari. But we've lost our ERS. You can see at the bottom on our little telemetry there that we've not got any ERS. We can't use it. We're on none. So we've lost a tremendous amount of straight line speed, traction speed, all the speed. Because we've essentially, I think it's 150 horsepower, the battery. So we've lost like a tenth of our overall kind of power that we can generate in this car, which just, makes Piastri's life easy. But we've got it back now, just in the nick of time, as Fernando Alonso is looking to make a move, but there's just nothing doing for him there. We do go a little bit deep, and Fernando thinks about the inside, but again, around the outside, when you're getting the traction, there's just nothing that you can do from Fernando's position. But here we go, our car versus the McLaren in a straight, and we're breezing past. Obviously we're using DRS and the battery. Piastri didn't have the DRS. He might have been using battery, but he might have also just thought there's no point in fighting this right now, let's just wait for his ERS to fail again and we'll go for another lap. So lap 8 now. We're trying to save our battery through the middle sections of the lap, so where it's a little bit twisty turny, there's not really any point for us to use the battery. We did let Piastri go so we could get DRS on the final straight, but Alonso is all over us here and it goes down the inside. We've got to give him space on the apex, but he gives us space in return on exit, but we survived that for now. I think the hairpin's just a bit too tight potentially for Alonso to make that kind of move at the moment, especially if we give him a bit of a squeeze in the right places. We actually go deep and make a massive jump over a bump, and that rhymed, and Fernando Alonso easily claims that position, and I think we have DRS. I didn't see if we were within DRS range of Piastri or if Alonso gave us his DRS. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to find out now as down the back straight we go. Just checking where Tsunoda is as well. Alonso does indeed have DRS and so do we. So we're going to go 2 by 2, potentially into the final corner. And no, Alonso actually goes into the pit lane and we have a bit of a snap of oversteer under traction. That gives Tsunoda the gap he's been looking for. But we're not going to give it up easily as down the inside we go, locking the left front. Tsunoda going for the switchback, but with a corner straight after it, there's just nothing he can do from there to really make an impact. Now, Alonso did go into the pits, and he's going to definitely undercut us here. Just hopefully not by much, as these tyres really giving up on us. I think it just seems that the rear is just a bit unstable. I don't think anything else on the car is particularly bad. We just don't have much front end anymore with the wing damage. And yeah, there goes Tsunoda. Nothing we can do with the DRS there. And again, even under brakes, we're sort of half locking the fronts and losing the rear. It's very weird. I don't know how to describe it. I don't think it's a setup thing. I think I was just driving horrendously in this race. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Have I been driving badly? I mean, I qualified in P6, so I can't say it's like terrible driving or terrible setup. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle, but lap 11 now. Tsunoda's not coming into box just yet. We want to go to the mediums at some point, and that's a huge snap, similar to what gave Tsunoda his chance down the start-finish straight, but yeah, we're so much closer to the wall and making a race-ending connection with it this time around. We've got Carlos Sainz for company. Our teammates in the pit, so it's definitely pit stop time. I'm just trying to hang it out. Hopefully there's going to be a safety car that will save us from having to lose too much time in the pits with the wing change and everything like that. But yeah, I'm really not enjoying these tyres at the minute. I'm not enjoying the setup. I'm not enjoying my own driving. It's kind of destroyed my confidence, that first corner braking incident. It was, yeah, really just kicked me down, I guess. You know, I had a pretty decent qualifying, and now almost just even there on very low speeds, not even maxing out the rev limiter. It was, yeah, not really been that fun. But Lance Stroll is out of the session. He's somewhere near the start of Q2, if you can see on the minimap in the bottom left. We are not going to box because there's no safety car, and I'm hoping that maybe it will get called late and we can kind of jump a couple of people like Piastri in the pit lane. Leclerc is on the exit now. You might have just seen him fly by on the left. There he is ahead. I don't think we're going to get DRS from him, but there's going to be surely a McLaren in the shape of Oscar Piastri leaving the pits and chasing us down momentarily. But yeah, these tyres, we need to come in. We have to kind of call it quits on the safety car. There's Lance Stroll on the left and the yellow flags that we were talking about 20 seconds ago. But I think, yeah, there's no safety car here unless there's another big incident before we get to the pit lane. But we're going to get the team to repair the wing. We're going to get on the mediums. I don't think softs are a good idea. They will just be destroyed after 3 laps around here. And yeah, I think that's all we can do, really. See where we end up in this race. We're going to come out in P14 apparently, according to the MFD. Lewis Hamilton is on our case though, as we're going down this back straight. He's going to the inside, and I wanted to force him that way because we are going to come into the pits, try and get it slowed down just in perfect timing of the pit limiter. And yeah, we're going to come out outside of the points, but hopefully not in a terrible position and on fresh mediums. Fresher than quite a few other people on the track, I would say, but we're going to lose a lot of places. The team just fitting to the rest of the wing, and now we can get out. So teammate in P12, who's just ahead of us now, going into the first corner. Following him is the Williams of Alex Albon, and then the Alpine of Jack Doohan. So we might slot out just ahead of Doohan. Yes, we do. But now we just have to chase Albon, Alonso, our teammate, who's somewhere, I think in P10 actually right now. So that's pretty good for Dennis up ahead. But I think he's on much older tyres than ourselves and those around us. So we'll see what he can do in the rest of this race. There's 7 laps to go, including this one, I think. Maths is hard today, as clearly driving was on the day I was recording this. But so far so good. I mean, we've got plenty of battery. We're just close enough to Albon to get the rear wing open for the last 2 straights of this circuit. We've got plenty of battery. We've got decent traction on these mediums. And I have to say, with the front wing and with the fresher rubber, and even just the fact that it's the medium compound, we've got better pace. The rear's not really wanting to step out as much. I'm not sure if it was just a hard compound thing. Let me know in the comments if you guys have played this and used hards and seen the difference. Hauger has since been passed by Alonso. I imagine that happened last lap at this very moment. We've got plenty of battery. We're kind of saving it a little bit through that middle sector, especially when it comes to our teammate. I'm potentially looking to the inside, but I don't want to hinder Hauger too much, but he kind of did that himself a little bit by not just returning fully to the racing line. And I really need to get past my teammate here as he's on older hards. So we do just destroy him in the first corner. And now it's all about chasing Fernando Alonso for P10 and a point, which is not ideal. But we lost multiple seconds in the pit stop for the front wing. and we've just been falling back with the setup ever since the beginning. So let's see what we can do. 5 laps to go. Mark hasn't said anything about the rain yet, so I don't know if that's going to come up again, but we'll find out. As now on to lap 24 here. Nothing has really changed, I'll be honest, guys. There's a bit of a gap at least to Albon behind, 2.5 seconds, and we've got Alonso 7-8 seconds down the road. Once the tyres started to wear off, or when they started to get to a lower grip level, yeah, the car just felt horrible. I am going to also blame my skill in this one. I love Canada as a track normally. I've loved it on previous games, but something about it this time with this car, with this setup, I just couldn't drive it and be confident with it in the same way that I've been confident at other tracks, you know what I mean? But I hope this isn't a thing that's going to continue happening, because we struggled in Spain last week, we struggled in Canada this week, and yeah, we've got Austria, which is another track I enjoy, coming next, and I don't want that to be another one where I go into it thinking this is going to be the one if it's not going to be. Do you know what I mean? But even after that, we've got Silverstone, where I initially did that kind of race against 110 AI just for funsies, not recorded or anything, just to see if I could race against 110 AI, and the answer was yes, which is why we ended up racing against 110 AI in this career mode now. And while I think most of my driving is getting better and more consistent, yeah, it's just not coming together recently. I don't fully understand it myself, but we're going to see what happens next week. This week, Verstappen does win again, and if I have to hear Crofty say there's no Verstappen, Max Verstappen, I'm going to crash the car next time.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
A bit like that. I think we just killed Hauger. I have no idea how we kept that on the track at all. But Alonso gets driver of the day, which, fair play.
And in the end, there was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen, he takes victory.
Okay, I take it back, guys. I don't want to crash the car next week just because of what Crofty said.
Well, that's 2 race wins in a row for them. I think they'll be really happy with that. I mean, 1 race win is great, but to have 2, you know that you've got it. You're a little bit more comfortable in your skin. This is a great sign of maybe what's to come next.
No, I don't want it to be a great sign of what's to come next. I want that to be my sign.
It's what they've all been racing towards, waiting for them. High above the pit lane is our podium. And for the lucky 3, it's time to stand on it. One of the all-time greats celebrates yet again. It's another podium, it's another top step for Max Verstappen.
Yeah, I don't know what the racing was like up front. I know that the other cars around me, like Ferraris, McLarens, even Aston Martins to an extent, had a quicker car. Maybe in a straight line as well. It could just be an AI thing. It could be a me driving and setup thing. But I had pretty low wings, I would say, compared to the setup I was running in practice. So
it's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, me neither. Hopefully some better driving and better setups from me. But Max Verstappen taking the top step and the fastest lap, a 1:11.4 in the end. And then Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Piastri, Antonelli, Russell, Sainz, Alonso, ourselves in P11, Albon, Hauger, Gasly, Doohan, Hulkenberg, Lawson, Ocon, Hadjar, Bortoletto, Behrman, and Stroll, who DNF'd. Our fastest was 1.1 seconds slower than the fastest lap. But you can see what happened. There's a couple of guys actually that finished in the points that started outside of the points. So there's a bit of a shift almost. There was Alonso, myself, and Albon that started off in the points that lost out to those 3 who then did go into the points. So a bit of an interesting race there from that side of it. In the drivers, yeah, not much has changed. Verstappen getting in between the McLarens is quite interesting. We're slowly falling down the order with the unveiling of the 110 AI. In the constructors, though, McLaren cleanly leading the way. Tsunoda really needs to pick up his feet for Red Bull if he's to help that team improve. The highlights are here for you now. If you, enjoyed, leave that like. If you're new, think about subscribing. And yeah, let me know what you think. I didn't show you the setup in the video, but I don't think it wasn't anything crazy. It's pretty standard, and I just lowered the wings. So I'm not sure, maybe it was just a wing imbalance issue that I had going on that didn't really show itself on the soft tires, but did when it came to like the hards and the mediums. Like I said, the mediums were fine until I got down to like lower grip levels, and that right there in lap 1, look at the damage to the front wing. I mean, you might have seen it in a thumbnail as well, but that was really the Achilles heel of this race, I think, along with the person who was driving the damn car. But yeah, that's really it. Let me know what you guys think my car issues were this week. I mean, the ERS fault didn't help either. That lost us a couple of seconds as well. But either way, not where we wanted to finish. But we've got a couple of good tracks coming up, so make sure you're subscribed. And yeah, I'll see you all in a few days for potentially another 2-player career video.